Okay, how's it going, everyone? So, we are almost done. We are almost at the finish line, and the very last thing to do is to take all the parts and assemble them together. So, that's exactly what we're going to do in this video. So, to start off, I'll go ahead and make a new file, and I will name it Pipe Splice Assembly. Okay, now here's where there's some controversy. So you can either do an assembly file, or you can, and it'll put you straight into assembly, or you can go ahead and do a model file, and the file that you've been using for this whole class essentially. There really isn't a difference between the two, because assembly is essentially only a feature that is within the model, um, I guess, stage of using NX. So um, while you're in model, you can actually open up assembly, and I think, in my opinion, the main differences to me is that in model you do get this datum, and you get these planes here for you to use, while in assembly you don't get them. You get your origin and everything, which is great, but you don't get those planes to work off of, and you'll see what I mean here in a bit. So to get this started, I'm gonna go ahead and remember to save the assembly file in the same folder that I've been using this whole time, and go into, let's see, so same folder, make sure you have the right name, use model if you want. If you don't, then this video might not be as helpful. So if you so yeah, use model, and then your units obviously will stay in millimeters. If you change them, I don't know. I think your laptop or your computer will explode, and then that won't be good. So what we'll do here. So just pretend you don't see this. So this is what essentially NX looks like when you open it up at home, or when you have it open in the lab. Like the tools here are roughly the tools that you see there in the lab. So there really isn't all that much of a difference. Now, if you want to start the actual process of assembling things, you will go into, for me and for maybe some of you at home watching this, you'll go into File, and then you'll click this Assemblies, and like it says here, it turns on the Assemblies application, which provides tools to construct assemblies of parts. So if I go ahead and select this, I get these additional buttons here, and with these buttons I can go ahead and import all of those parts that I had originally drafted up or made, and bring them into this certain file. Now, if you're in the lab or something, there should be like a button over here in this corner that says Start, and once you hit Start, you'll just click something that says roughly something like Assemblies or something, and you will get these buttons, whether they be on the bottom or whether they be somewhere at the top here, or maybe they should appear somewhere. The main button that you'll be using, the main two buttons essentially that you'll be using for this certain um, assignment, is this Add button here, and you'll also be using this Assembly Constraints, and that's essentially it. So now to finally get into the assembly, so I'll go ahead and click this Add here. And as far as loaded parts, I have no loaded parts. I have no recent parts. Maybe I don't. Yeah, I don't have any recent parts. But to add some parts into this part file, I'm going to go ahead and click on Open, and go to your folder where you have the movable jaw, the screw, the handle, and the base. Go ahead and select them all and hit OK. So you can essentially load all of the parts at once, and these are all of the parts in this preview window, if you have the preview selected. And what you'll do essentially, it's pretty intuitive. You'll select base. It's pretty obvious. You'll start with base, and some of the things that you want to have selected are, so you'll select base, this first part, and then as far as positioning goes, you'll position this space by constraints. You won't position it by absolute origin or select origin. So by constraints. As far as the setting goes, replication, I don't think you change anything there. As far as setting goes, make sure to name this part base or whatever you want, essentially. If model is selected here, which is what might be the case for you, then go ahead and select entire part. So notice here in the component preview, you see that if I have model here, there's no sketches or there's no original datum planes that were there before. But if I go into entire part, then all of a sudden they appear and they're there. So I want to use the entire part because I want to be able to select maybe some sketches or maybe this original datum that I have here. Because if I don't, then if I use just model, it disappears. So use entire part. As far as layer options, just use original. I don't really know what that means just yet. But make sure you have these settings. So now I'll just go ahead and hit apply, and then let's see. So if you preview component in main window, then it will appear there. If you don't, then it won't appear there. For the sake of it actually constraining properly, I will preview the component in the main window. So what I'll do, it puts it like smack in the middle there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click it and I'm going to drag it like a little bit aside, because right now it has no constraints at all and it can essentially just move wherever it wants. Okay, so the first thing that I will do, I think the default constraint is touch align, and it's preferred touch here. So what I'll do, the first constraint I actually want to apply is this plane and this plane. And what it does, so here, kind of messed up already, so just hit reverse. What it does is, well, here, this is kind of like a watch and learn kind of thing. So I'll select this one here and this one here, and I'll reverse it because that's not what I want. So notice how these planes here, they are officially if they were aligned, they would be essentially collinear. So this plane here touches this plane here touches this plane. So now it can only move in this left and right fashion here. It can't move back and forth anymore because, or it can't move up and down anymore because these two planes here, this plane is touching this plane is touching this plane too. So you have that restriction now. To go ahead and remove the restriction in this orientation or this fashion, the next thing you would do is select that face and or plane and select this plane. Yeah, that plane. So now if I go ahead and hit now if I try to move it, it won't move anywhere. And if I close everything out and if I close like all these windows out and I right click and I select show degrees of freedom, it's going to tell me here at the bottom there that there are no degrees of freedom. So but we'll kind of skip that. I'm pretty confident this is staying there. It can't move anywhere. Okay, so next what I'll do is I'll assemble the screw, and for the screw, make sure to hit apply again, that way this box can come back up. If it doesn't, you can just click here and it'll come back up. It's no big deal. So I'll move it about right there. And what I want to do for this one is I want to make an inferred center slash axis. And what I will select is this Z and this Z here. If you don't have the datum here, or you don't have an axis here, what you can also do is in the infer center slash axis, you can also select a circle here, or the edge of a circle here, and the edge of a circle here, and it's essentially the same thing. And I mean, if something comes out and it's not essentially what you want, then you'll reverse this. So reversing it for me actually puts this upside down, so I don't want to reverse it. Now I know that the screws, the handle, I'm sorry, goes through. It should be faced about right there. And to rotate it, I just click this Y, and I can kind of like swing it around this way. So I know it's supposed to face something like this. So this X-axis actually should be, or let's say this plane here actually should be parallel with this face, right? So if I go to preferred touch here, or I'm sorry, if I go to parallel, I can select this face, and I can select, or plane, and I can select this face. And now you see how it moved over a little bit. And I can now only move it up and down. I can't rotate it anymore, just like I was able to. So for now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave it this way. And there is a constraint missing because it can move up and down, and we would like to constrain it to where it can't move up and down. But given that it can only move up and down, that's essentially okay for now. So I'll just go ahead and hit OK. And the next thing I'll do is the movable jaw. So I'm going to hit apply, and then let's see, so where is it? So it's right here. Okay, so for this, like the book says, you're going to, it'd be better if you went to this tab here and uncheck the base. You don't want to see it for now. You want to see this part of the screw. So what you're going to want to constrain is you want to touch align, prefer touch, this face and this face here. Okay, so now it's not very obvious that it did it, but it did. So now if I go to Infer Center Axis, and I select here, and I also select here, it essentially puts this movable jaw on the screw here. So if I move this whole thing, the whole thing will want to rotate. So keep in mind up here this doesn't rotate, but this still wants to rotate. So to fix that, I know that it needs to come down. According to this face, this needs to be, I should be looking at one face, so it should be essentially parallel to my screen right now. So to fix that, I will go to a parallel constraint, and I will click on this face, or you could have also clicked on this plane here, and I will click on something that it should be parallel to. So for example, this plane would work here. So now it's officially, the only reason why it can move up and down is because there is no constraint on this screw as far as up and down goes. So when I go ahead and hit OK, and then I show the base, now this thing can move here. This thing, oh well, I have to be in constraints in order to move it up and down. But yeah, so we will add that. I mean, let's go ahead and add one now, just for the sake of having a constraint there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a distance, and I will select this face here, and I will also select the face here, and I'm going to make this distance roughly 35 millimeters. I know the book says something about 35 millimeters, but it's kind of weird because when you look at the movable jaw, there is a gap here, and if you look at the picture of which the movable jaw, if you look at the placement of the movable jaw in the picture in the book, you can see that it's actually a little bit lower, as in this 35 isn't really 35, it's probably like maybe 20 or something, and that's something I still have yet to figure out. So I'm probably going to go like ask Jim tomorrow like what value it is, and if I do, then here is where I will put a comment on YouTube later on after I figure that out. So yeah, so that's where I put it. So Now, if I go ahead and so everything is essentially constrained. So if I right click this and I ask for the degrees of freedom, it tells me that there are in fact no degrees of freedom here at the bottom. So that is exactly what we want, right? So we don't want any of these things to be moving, or we don't want any of these things to um, essentially be just free to roam around or anything. So what we have so far is perfect, is good. So maybe not perfect, but it's good. So now under the components that we want to add, I want to go ahead and add let's go ahead and do the handle. So make sure everything's okay. I'll hit apply, and to do this handle, I will go under Infer Center Axis here, under Touch Align, and the objects that I will select are in fact this line here, this center line, and this Z here. And here I can move it throughout. And now I know that I'll close this preview. Oh no, sorry. Close. Yeah, I'll close that preview. So now I know that if I look at it straight on like this, the distance between this face and the middle here should be the same distance as the distance between this face and the middle here. So essentially it should be in the center. So if you look at the dimensions for the full length of this handle, I think it's 172 millimeters. Let me go check. So yeah, it is exactly 172 millimeters. So to fix this in place and to hold it there, I'm going to do two things. So I'm going to make this here parallel with this face, why not? And I will also do a distance constraint. And I will do a distance constraint of this face here, make sure to select the face, and this plane here. And this will have a distance. So notice how it is projected distance. It's not literally from here to here, because then we'd have an angle here, and then we'd have to, the cosine of this would be the true distance, whatever. But we want 172 divided by 2, which is the total length, which is 86. So if I hit OK and I right click it, well, we'll do that later. The show degrees of freedom thing. So now, what I will add on is the screw, I think. No. Oh, I didn't bother making the handle screw. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and make that real quick, and I don't know, maybe I'll pause the video. We'll see. I don't know. Let me do that right now. Why not? If you wanna, I guess, skip this part, obviously go ahead. Okay, so now I'm back. So I made the handle screw, yeah, the handle screw. So now, let's see, let's go ahead and add it here. I will open and entire part by constraints, apply, and now I will go ahead and preview window. So I will go ahead and make, does that look right? Yeah, I guess so. I will infer a center slash axis here, and here, and where is it? Is it there? Oh yeah, there it is. And I preview it in here just to make sure it's right, just to make sure, you know, it didn't do like that or anything, because that's not what I want. So now I think I can essentially just go ahead and touch this face and this face here, and then a parallel constraint will be next. And then all we'll do is we'll add we'll add one to the other side, and I'll do that right now. Touch, not inference interactive. Yeah, I guess. Where did it go? Oh my god, where did it go? I'll just start that over. That roughly looks like what I want. So now I'll just make this parallel here. And oh my god, I can see the light. Can't you see the light? You're almost done. After you finish this. Okay, so now I'll press home. I'll hide everything except for solid bodies. And there you have it. You are essentially done with this assignment. And first of all, thank you for watching. And like I said, so I don't know about this whole distance here, about this being 35 here. It might be something different. You should really make sure it might be actually something in the book that I'm missing, or maybe something in the book that I just like lazily looked over and not really paid attention to, and maybe this distance actually comes back down or something like that. But this is essentially um, what the assembly is. This is what it looks like. So like I said, thanks for watching. If you do have any questions, please email me, and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can, because just like all of you guys, I am busy, and so yeah, like I said, if you have any problems, email me, and maybe we can meet up and try and figure this thing out or something. And if you have any questions for me about what I did here, obviously also email me, and we'll figure something out. Maybe where I went wrong, or maybe there's somewhere along this whole assembly where I just completely went wrong. And I mean, hopefully I didn't. I don't think I did. But now assuming this is all right, you are essentially done. So congratulations, and you should be happy for yourself. You should go celebrate a little bit, and whether that be going and buying candy like maybe I would do, or I don't know, just be glad it's over with. And I will see you guys either next week, and I will talk to you guys essentially in the next video. Okay, so thanks for watching. See you guys soon.